Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Jack and Jackie Harball Club at Houchins Industries LT Smith Stadium on the campus of Western Kentucky University. Thank you to those loyal members of Hilltopper Nation who have filled this room today and who are joining us online. I'd also like to extend my appreciation to those media members, both locally and regionally, who have dedicated their time to covering the Hilltoppers this past season and who are here to document this historic day. It's certainly an exciting time to be on the Hill and to be a follower of Hilltopper basketball. Everyone at our table will have an opening statement and we will proceed into questions from the media. If you would, media members, please raise your hand when you have a question and one of our staff members will bring you a microphone. And please state your name and outlet before directing your question to a specific person or persons. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce to the stage WKU President Dr. Tim Caboni, Director of Athletics Todd Stewart, and Head Coach Steve Lutz.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, an important and exciting day for our university, for our athletics program, and for Hilltopper basketball. I want to start this morning by taking a moment to thank Coach Stansberry and Mio and the entire Stansberry family for everything they did for our university, being great representatives, and also everything they created for our program. I also want to recognize Todd Stewart. If you don't know, we have one of the best athletic directors in the country. Congratulations, Todd, for a great search. Now, as a university, we have some high expectations for ourselves. We expect to compete in everything that we do, with instruction, with research, with fundraising, with economic development, and obviously in our athletic performance. We know that there are expectations around Hilltopper basketball, and we are going to meet those expectations. And so I know that we have the right coach to do that. Steve Lutz and his family are going to be tremendous additions to the Bowling Green community, to our university, and to our men's basketball team. And I just want to say this. I remember in 1993, when I was here as a student, what it feels like in Diddle Arena when you go on a run to the Sweet 16. It changes everything in this community, on this campus, for our students, and inside Diddle Arena. And that's what we have to bring back to this university and to this program. But it's not just on Coach Lutz. It's on each one of us to show up. It's on our students. It's on the business community to support this program the way we know it needs to be supported. It also means not just showing up for the big game, because for programs like WKU, every game has to be the big game. And so, as much as I'm excited to have Coach Lutz here, this is also a challenge to our entire WKU Hilltopper family. This is on all of us to bring this program back to where we know it can be. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Todd Stewart.
Thank you, Dr. Caboni, and thank you for your support and your guidance through this entire search, as always. And thank you all for being here. Wow, standing room only in a full Harball Club in March. Appreciate everybody coming out. Certainly a big day for our program. First of all, I'd really like to thank Jim Clark and Dana Brown for their extensive help over the last week. They played a vital role in working with me through every step of this process, and it's a process that ended well because we have a terrific person in place to lead our program. And before we go any further, I'd really like to welcome the Lutz family up here to my right in the front row. Steve's wife, Shannon, his daughters, Caroline and McKenna, and my man Jackson right here in the front row. Please welcome the Lutz family. 10 days ago, I was asked what attributes we would be looking for in our new head coach. And I said success in the areas of recruiting, player development, academics, community involvement, and winning would obviously be the keys, and eventually getting us back to the NCAA tournament. A common theme with Steve Lutz is consistent success in all of these areas. If you look at his entire career, but in particular the last 13 years, 7 of which were at Creighton, 4 at Purdue, and then certainly the last 2 at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, he has a proven track record of recruiting success, player development, academic success, community involvement, and winning. And while making that impact, being respected by so many along the way. When you hire somebody, as we've said many times, and Mark Reardon was a great example, it's always nice if you can hire somebody as your head coach who has head coach experience. But it's even better if you can hire somebody who has winning head coaching experience. And that is exactly what we have here right now. What Steve Lutz did at Texas A&M Corpus Christi was remarkable. He inherited a program that had 4 consecutive losing seasons, was 5-19 the season before he got there. And then in the 2 years that he was there as their head coach, won a regular season championship, 2 conference tournament championships, went to 2 NCAA tournaments, and won an NCAA tournament game. And really, probably his best coaching job was in the last couple weeks. In the conference tournament championship game, in the first 5 minutes of the game, they lost their best player, who was the conference defensive player of the year, and fell down by 16 points. When you're down by 16 points in a conference championship game without your best player, I know there's a lot of coaches in the room here right now, that's not where you want to be. But Texas A&M Corpus Christi came back and won that game, and then won a game in the NCAA tournament. And you don't do that facing that kind of adversity if you don't have players that believe in each other, believe in their head coach, believe in their program, and have that winning culture. And that's what he created in 2 short years there. And that's pretty special to do that in such a relatively short period of time. And in fact, over the last 7 seasons he's been a head coach, every team he's been with has been to the NCAA tournament. 7 consecutive years this man has coached in the NCAA tournament. So when you add all that up, Steve Lutz is the right person at the right time to lead WKU basketball. So please join me in welcoming the 16th head coach in WKU men's basketball history, Steve Lutz. Attention to detail already.
Well, thank you all for being here. As I told Dr. Gaboni, I always have a hard time following people that are such eloquent speakers. That's the last thing that I am. I'm a basketball coach. I'm a family man, and sometimes this is uncomfortable for me, so please bear with me. But I'd like to start by thanking everybody for being here today. My family and I are very excited about joining the Bowling Green community. I can't thank my wife Shannon enough. Obviously, being a coach's wife has taken us all over the world, and I couldn't do anything without her. I love her dearly, and it's going to be fun. My daughter, McKenna, is going to be a high school senior next year. My daughter, Caroline, is at Purdue, and then my little guy's in 4th grade. So, when you move, it's just not me taking a new job. It's a change for the entire family, and none of us take that lightly in our family. So I can't thank them enough. But with that being said, Dr. Gaboni, thank you. Todd, thank you. I fully understand what it means to be the head coach at Western Kentucky University. And if it wasn't for the vision of these 2 gentlemen, I would not be here today. They have a vision of excellence in everything that they do, and I share that vision. I would like to make sure that you understand, I am not shy about what we are here to do. We're here to win games. We're here to win conference championships. We're here to go to the NCAA tournament and win games. And all the while doing that, We're here to do it the right way, and we're here to do it with integrity. So I'm excited. I can promise you guys that myself and my staff will work extremely hard to fulfill those goals and to recruit the right people that everyone will be proud of, not only on the floor, but when they are out in the community, when they're out, on national TV, wherever they are, that they're always representing us in the right way. When they ask you about, hey, are you interested in Western Kentucky? I mean, obviously the immediate answer is yes, because you look at the history of this place and it just jumps off the page. I mean, we've got 43, correct me if I'm wrong, 43 league titles in basketball. That's third in the nation. It's third in the nation, guys. We are 10th in the nation in 21 seasons. And then what's more impressive to me, and this is why I say my vision aligns with Dr. Caboni and Todd, we have 37 Conference USA titles. So that shows you that there is sustained excellence across the board, that not only is men's basketball important, but football's important, and volleyball's important, and softball's important, and on down the line. And that's what you want to be a part of. If you're gonna go somewhere, you want to go somewhere where it means something to everyone to be successful. But the thing that intrigued me the most is that everyone works for one another, right? The basketball team doesn't get anything that maybe the softball team doesn't get, or vice versa. We all support one another at the games. We're all pulling in the same direction, and that's obviously to make Western Kentucky athletics one of the best programs in the country. But with all that being said, none of this would be attainable nor possible if it was not for you guys, the fans. I understand that. I've watched your games on TV. The arena is fantastic. And when you guys are there cheering and it's loud, it's one of the best places in the country to play. And with that being said, he's already challenged you, so I'm not going to challenge you again. But please understand, we need you. We need you. These guys need you. They deserve you. And it's going to be a fun ride. Just want everybody to be there with us and make it possible. It's a little different time period, obviously, in college basketball. We've got the transfer portal. We've got NIL. We've got all kinds of different things going on. And I don't think that you should ever shy away from that. We've got the guys, I met with the guys yesterday for the most part, those who had made it back from spring break. And it seems like we've got really good people in that locker room. And that's where you start. But those guys need your support. And, I am a very open and honest and upfront person, and I basically kind of talk to them a little bit about, hey, our goals have to be, number one, to win the league. Our second goal is to win the league tournament, and then to go to the NCAA tournament and win games. And that's got to be our goal each and every year. And if you're interested in doing that, and you're interested in being a good person, you're interested in working really hard, then you're going to really like me. And I'm going to really like you. So, but it's a two-way street. And I bring up the portal and I bring up the NIL because it's such a different age. We have to embrace it. And your support is going to be extraordinarily important to us as we move forward. My goals, other than obviously winning the league tournament, and winning the NCAA tournament, are always going to be the same. Number one, we've got to recruit really good people, and we've got to recruit really good players, because no one wins without good players. That's the bottom line. But then you've also got to retain those really good players and those really good people. After that, you've got to develop them, and then you got to make sure that they graduate. And if we can check all four of those boxes every single year, then we're going to be part of this sustained success and continue to raise the bar here at Western Kentucky. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I think that these guys are going to enjoy playing the way that we'll play. Offensively, we'll be on both sides of the ball, we'll be very aggressive. We'll be very entertaining, if that's a good word to use. Offensively, if we can score in the first 12 seconds of the shot clock, we're going to do it. But then after that, we're going to take the first best shot we can get. And that equals winning basketball in my mind. Whether, our point guard scores 25 a night or he scores 12 a night, everybody's going to have the same opportunity to attain success through the way we're going to play. We're going to be unselfish. We're going to share the basketball. And when we leave the gym at the end of the night, I sure hope that each and every one of you say, hey, the Hilltoppers were the hardest playing team on the floor. With that being said, sometimes you play really hard and you don't win. And we have to be able to accept that and move forward and then go win the next game. Defensively, I'd like to do the same thing. We're going to be aggressive. We're not going to allow other people to do what they want to do. And what I mean by that, similar to maybe football, if they're a run team, you're going to try and take away the run and make them go to the passing game. With us, if they have options A and B, I want to make them go to options C and D and make it hard on them to score the basketball. But I've always believed that everything starts with defense. We've been one of the better defensive teams in the country over the last 2 years. We've forced a lot of turnovers. We've always been, top 15 in the country in turnovers forced, and I don't plan to change that because unfortunately in college basketball, not every night is your jumper going to fall. So you've got to be able to guard people, you've got to be tough, and you've got to be able to, just beat people with your defense. So with that being said, any questions?
Media members, please raise your hand and state your name and outlet before directing your question to a person.
Drew Tennis with WKU Rivals. Coach Lutz, so you obviously bring a lot of experience to Western Kentucky. Just kind of looking at how the program has done in the past few seasons, what are a few things you intend to change, or what's kind of your vision for the program?
Well, my vision obviously is to win championships and to win in the NCAA tournament and do it the right way. In terms of changing, to be very honest with you, I hadn't, as I told the players, I don't come in here with preconceived notions about what they can and can't do. I'm going to play different than the previous staff. So, it's my job to figure out with the talent that we have, what's going to be the best way to play and adjust accordingly, right? You've got to change, especially with the transfer portal and today's, college basketball, the way it is in college basketball, you've got to evolve with what you have. And if, we need to throw the ball in 30 times a game and score at the rim, then we're going to throw the ball in 30 times a game if that's going to help us win. But it seems to me, looking at the roster and with the guys that I've met thus far, we've got a good balance between guards and bigs. So, I reserve the right to give you a definite answer until I get a chance to coach them.
Michael Compton, Bowling Green Daily News. Todd, could you take us through this process, how quickly you were able to identify Coach Lutz as the candidate and how it all came together?
Yes, he was on our list certainly from the get-go. I knew of him. I did not know him. But what was really unique about this was as the search unfolded, and we got to know each other better, but as I talked to more and more people and we did more and more research, there was never a yeah, but. It was every conversation, every piece of information made it better and better. It just continued to be positive and positive, and it just got to the point where he clearly, to me, was the number one person for this job, and thankfully, when he was asked to take it over, the answer was yes.
Coach Maxwell, trained WNKY all the way back here.
Gotcha.
Welcome to Bowling Green. Just quick question when it comes down to team self. Have you talked to the guys yet? I know it's just been relatively, quick for your turnaround, but have you talked to any of the players that are currently on the team and see where their minds are at right now?
Yeah, I met with the team yesterday at 4 o'clock, those that were back from spring break. Because of how quickly this thing progressed, so I didn't get everyone. When this is over, starting at 1:30 today, I'll start player meetings, and then tomorrow we'll start workouts. So I'll get a chance to meet with those guys today and tomorrow, and then obviously they'll get a chance to evaluate me. I'll get a chance to evaluate them. Obviously some are in class right now, but you have some of the guys here today, and I can't, like I tell them, I can't appreciate your support enough. They don't know me, right? But they're here today, and that shows to me that they're committed to being great players and great people at Western Kentucky. So the next few days and coming weeks will be great for both of us.
Coach, Jeff Nations with the Bowling Green Daily News. Can you describe the differences between taking this job and your previous head coaching job when you started out?
Sure. I mean, the first thing that jumps off the page is just the history of this program, right? I mean, we're talking about Sweet 16s and Final Fours, and at A&M Corpus, you had been to the NCAA tournament once in 2007 until we did it again. So, it's apples to oranges in terms of just history and tradition. That would be the things that jumps off the page, at the beginning. What was your other question? What other part?
Just the different challenges you have with this job as compared to your last.
Yeah, I'm still, the challenge is still yet to be determined because, when I walked into that situation, we only had 3 players return from the previous staff, and it's yet to be determined how many of these guys are going to return. It's just the nature of where we are in college athletics today with the transfer portal. They're all welcome to stay. Obviously, I've discussed what our standards are and what our expectations are, and some of them will embrace that and some of them won't. That doesn't make them bad people. This is not going to be for everyone. Our standard of work, our standard of excellence is not going to be for everyone. So let's not mistake that, but we'll move forward here in the coming weeks and see where it goes.
Coach Lutz, my name's Jim Mashik. I have my own website, jimmashik.com. Have you had a chance to evaluate talent in this part of the country, and in general, what kind of recruiting strategy are we looking at?
Obviously, I coached at Purdue for 4 years, and I've recruited Kentucky, I've recruited Indiana, Ohio, Tennessee. I've recruited all over the country in my however many years I've been doing this. So yeah, I've obviously been down here and recruited a decent amount. Obviously I was a little late in getting to the Kentucky State tournament, but I look forward to watching the Kentucky All-Stars beat the Indiana All-Stars here in a couple weeks or a month, whenever that is. But I look for character, number one. I look for competitiveness. I look for skill. And then I look for guys that just have passion for playing basketball. Because nothing in life, you're not going to attain anything in life if you don't have passion for what you do. Because there's going to be days that these guys are going to come to practice, and when practice is over, they're not going to like me very much. It's just part of life. It's part of being in a family. I mean, we have issues within every family, guys. And that doesn't mean I don't still love them when practice is over. But that means that, we have standards, we have things that we need to accomplish, and if that requires me to push them in a certain way that maybe makes them uncomfortable, then so be it. That's my job. But when practice is over, it's all good. We're still friends. Doesn't matter. The best players and the best people. Obviously, I've been able to recruit international players. I've been able to recruit junior college players. We've been able to recruit transfers, and obviously high school players. I know that there's several good players left in the state of Kentucky in this class, and then certainly the class of 2024 is brimming with talent. So, I've always believed in the same thing. If you can draw a 200 to 300 mile radius around your university and you can recruit what you need from there, why would you go any further, right? There's no reason for me to get on a plane and fly across the country or the world if I can find what we need, within our own backyard. But I'm not going to certainly limit us to that by any means.
Yeah, Coach, WKU Public Radio. My name is Jacob Martin. Kind of switching gears a little bit. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're excited about, the community of Bowling Green, kind of what drew you to WKU, just the city in general as kind of one of the newest residents in the community?
Yeah, no, good question. I wish I could tell you. I've only kind of driven across town once or twice, so I haven't seen a whole lot. I've been to the Embassy Suites and to the arena a couple times, and to President Caboni's house, which was interesting. He's got some interesting murals on the wall if you ever want to go by and check them out. But I mean, I've already talked a little bit about why our family was interested in WKU, just from a tradition standpoint. from an opportunity to win, from an opportunity to be one of the premier programs across the United States. But with that being said, every program and every level in college athletics is different. And when you go from, say, the Big East to the Big Ten to the Southland Conference, your level of commitment and your level of maybe attendance in the state of Texas, especially during football season, is not what it is in this area of the country. People love basketball here. It means a lot to people. And for a basketball coach, obviously, that's really important. So, you know, I'm like these players. I like to play in front of a full house every night. And we certainly can do that here at Bowling Green. I mean, at Western Kentucky, in Bowling Green.
Hey, Coach, back here, all the way back here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm short.
Yep,
I'm sorry.
gotcha.
Caden Gaylord Day, WBKO Sports. I was just wondering, what was your family's initial reaction when you told them that, you know, you got the offer from Western Kentucky?
You want the truth? No. No, I mean, probably the hardest part, obviously, is for my daughter McKenna, because she's going to be a high school senior. But with that being said, they've all been great about all of our transitions, right? And we've made new friends everywhere that we've been. Obviously, when you go to a new place, there's excitement, but there's also, you know, uncertainty. And so, you know, her being a senior, it's a tough time to move. And with that being said, she'll have every opportunity to make her own decision, or we'll make a family decision as to, you know, what she does for her senior year. But they were very excited. They also understand that this has kind of been our life, and we've embraced our life, right? We've been some great places because of basketball and because of athletics, and that'll continue, you know. So, you know, we enjoy it, and we enjoyed it a lot as a family.
Coach, since you mentioned Purdue, have you spoke with Coach Brom to kind of get an idea of some inside stuff, what to expect here at Western?
Well, of course. I mean, Brady's sitting second row right here, guys. Yeah, and you know, I told Todd and I told Dr. Caboni, like, I'm not going to get up here and thank everybody. I could spend 10 minutes thanking everybody, right? But I've never asked Todd this directly, but I would be shocked if Jeff Brom did not have his recommendation of me did not have a lasting impact on this search process. And when we were at Purdue together, I told these guys last night at dinner, like, I'm intrigued by football. I'm intrigued how you have that many kids, how you manage that many kids, how you have that many coaches, how you manage them. So the leadership portion of that really intrigues me. So I would go over to football quite a bit and pick his brain and watch practice and sit in on meetings and stuff like that. More than probably the normal person, maybe. Maybe not to Brady's extent, but, you know, more than the normal person. But no, I mean, we got to know one another. I can remember when I believe it was Brady and his dad went with us to Michigan State, didn't you? We went to Michigan State, and I mean, they're sitting in our meetings and they're asking questions about, you know, how do you do your defense? What is your thought process? How do you go about preparation and that kind of stuff? Coaching's still managing people and leading people to where you want them to go and demanding excellence. So I've enjoyed, obviously, our relationship with them, and he can't speak highly enough about the people in the community of Bowling Green. I mean, he had a hard time leaving here. He told me that there's no uncertainty about it. He had a hard time leaving here.
Anything
Isaac
else? Nope.
Go, bud.
Isaac Bourne, Mid-Major Madness. So I know that you've had some assistant jobs working for Power 5 schools such as Creighton and Purdue, but, you know, right now this might be your biggest head coaching job that you've had, you know, with a bigger school than Texas A&M Corpus Christi. So going into Conference USA, especially with Florida Atlantic still in the tournament, how do you expect to combat one of probably the strongest conferences you've head coached in?
Good question. Well, I mean, I plan to recruit really good players that can be successful in Conference USA, and then my staff and I, you know, we're going to coach them as hard as we can to get them to where we want to go. But it all starts with people. It starts with good players, And, then once you get into the league, you've got to figure out what it is you need to do to beat people. I've certainly competed against Conference USA opponents in the past. At the end of the day, coaching's still coaching. It's, are we going to be better at what we do versus what they do? And you've got to figure out a way to impose your will, and you've got to figure out a way to, get a win at the end of the day. But I'm excited about the opportunity to coach in Conference USA, but it's not like we're going to coach against the Lakers tomorrow. We all still put our shoes and our pants on the same way, and
Coach, one of the big roadblocks with this program, or a stumbling block, has been tournament play. You've been very successful in postseason. Can you kind of touch on why you think that is and what you do?
Well, everything goes back to having good players, right? Having good players and getting them to buy into your system, to believe into your system. That's where it starts. But, I certainly have a method to how you curtail practice as the year goes on, because you obviously have to be playing your best basketball in March and April, right? If you want to be one of the teams at the end of the year standing there holding a trophy. As the beginning of the year starts, we'll practice a lot longer than we will towards the end of the year. But in terms of just making things competitive on a daily basis, that will never change, because you've got to outcompete your opponent each and every night if you're going to win the basketball game. It's just maybe instead of competing on the practice floor for 2.5 hours, we're going to compete for 75 minutes.
Coach, over here, along the lines with your coaching staff, I doubt anybody's on board yet, but what are we looking at there with your staff?
Much like the team, coaching's almost like a little transfer portal as well. Obviously, I'm a person who never forgets where he came from, and guys that have been there with him along the ride. So, you've got some people here that I will speak with that are currently on staff and see if their values align with my values. But then, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've got a long list of people that are interested in coming to Western Kentucky, including, my previous staff. We'll see what happens back at A&M Corpus in terms of my assistant becoming the next head coach there, and then, the chips kind of fall where they may after that.
What's his name?
The assistant? Yeah, Jim Shaw.
Anything else for these three? Jeff, one more.
Yeah, Coach, just wanted to ask you too, it's always difficult to leave a place. How did you inform your team that you were coming to Western Kentucky?
Yeah, good question. We had a team meeting on, what's today? Today's Monday, so that would be Saturday. Yeah, we landed back in Corpus on Friday afternoon, and we had a quick team meeting just to kind of make sure that we're all on the same page as to what needs to be done and handled in your business and on and on. And then I called another team meeting on Saturday morning prior to jumping onto the plane at 12:45, and then I believe the announcement was made sometime thereafter. But usually when you call team meetings and the season just ended, those guys are not dumb. They read Twitter as well. Somebody had leaked a flight pattern maybe from Bowling Green to Corpus Christi. Was that you? Okay. So it's just the world we live in. But those guys were great. They're very unselfish people, and these guys will probably get tired of me talking about it, but when they have success and we have success, everyone has success. And so I've preached that for the last 2 years, and those guys deserved everything they got in terms of going to the NCAA tournament, in terms of winning a game, right? And they know that when people have success, that there's other opportunities to come along. And so it was expected. But, we've got to now expect that success here as well. That's got to be the next step.
All right. That will conclude our men's basketball introductory press conference.